want to learn how to breastfeed your baby successfully until 8 months of age or longer, then keep watching this video for all the tips on how to breastfeed successfully. Welcome everyone to the Momma Nurse channel. I'm Vanessa, and here we discuss all things nursing, motherhood, and lifestyle. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any uploads. The success of breastfeeding starts even before you give birth. It's the mentality, it's the thought process, it's knowing that you want to breastfeed successfully. Ever since I was pregnant with baby number 1, I always had it in my head that I wanted to breastfeed and I wanted to have all natural births. I was able to do both of those things with all 4 of my pregnancies and deliveries. So follow this video. I have all the tips for you so that you learn how to breastfeed successfully for as long as you want. Before giving birth, make the conscious decision that you will be breastfeeding. Don't let anybody feed you with, oh, you won't be able to, it's hard, or anything like that. You make the conscious decision for you and your baby, because all of that will radiate down to your baby, and it will make it easier for when they come out. They'll be ready. They'll already have that game plan to be successful at breastfeeding. Feel free to let your doctors know during and leading up to delivery that you do want to breastfeed, whether it's your doctor, your nurse practitioner, your doula, your midwife, whoever that person may be. Let them know that your plan is to breastfeed. That way, once you do deliver, they can assist you with doing that first latching and all of that. And if they have any tips throughout the way, they can give you that information to help you be successful. A good resource that not a lot of people know about is if you contact your insurance company. Most insurance companies, at about 7 to 8 months of pregnancy, they can start the paperwork process to get you a breast pump for free, or at least reimburse you for that breast pump to help you on your breastfeeding journey. A lot of times they will want you to wait until you deliver in order to get that reimbursement. But if you contact them at about 7 or 8 months, then they can at least start the paperwork process. Once you have delivered, then you can call in and say, hey, I delivered my baby on this date. They will want the date of delivery, and then they can finish up the paperwork for that breast pump and send it out to you. I have done this with all of my babies. I have never had to purchase a breast pump on my own. Besides, I think one of them I did purchase, but I got reimbursed for it. So it's a good thing to have. I'm not ashamed of getting a breast pump through my insurance company, because they would send you Medellas, Symphonies, whatever is in style or that they're offering that year, send it to you. And it's brand new breast pumps. They're not refurbished or anything like that. So it's definitely a good thing to have and keep in mind. If you need any help going through this process, please drop it down below and I can help you with all of the things that they will ask you. One of my main rules for being successful with breastfeeding is completely avoiding pacifiers and bottles. I know you think I'm crazy, but if you believe me, out of my 4 babies, 1 baby got a pacifier 1 time. That's in all honesty. And the only time that it happened was with my oldest. When he went to get circumcised, I do believe they gave him a pacifier then. Other than that, none of my babies have had pacifiers. That's a little extreme. I know for a lot of people, that was just our preference. Myself and Dad agreed since the beginning that we didn't really want to do it. We wanted to give the babies the best chance of being successful at breastfeeding, and we didn't want to alter that nipple comfort. So we decided not to do pacifiers at all. When we did introduce bottles, we introduced bottles that were very similar to the breast nipple. That way baby wouldn't get more comfortable with the bottle feeding rather than the breastfeeding. Thing to keep in mind when you are in the hospital, I know a lot of times nurses and doctors will say, hey, do you want me to get them a bottle, give them some formula so that you can rest? No, I'm fine. As tired as you may be, you want to avoid bottles and pacifiers at all costs if you can. especially during those first 4 weeks after delivery. The reason being is in those first 4 weeks, baby is still getting accustomed to the shape of your nipple, the flow of the milk, and all of that. So you want to make sure that you keep it consistent. That way they won't get to the point where they're comfortable with the bottle more so than the breast, because that's what leads people to not be able to continue breastfeeding. If you think about it, bottles are going to have a much faster flow. The milk is just going to come out, baby's not going to have to work for it. So of course they're going to want the easier route. Breastfeeding, it's going to kind of spray out at the baby, and it's at a slower rate or slower pace, so babies have to work for it a little bit more. So once you start bringing in or introducing bottles, it makes it easier for them, so then they get more comfortable and they'd rather the bottle over the breast. So if you want to breastfeed, make sure that you're staying away from the bottles if you can. If you can't, then go ahead and get bottles that are shaped more so like the breast nipple, and avoid pacifiers if you can help it. Believe it or not, being that we never introduced pacifiers at all, our babies weren't really that cranky. Never had to soothe them or anything like that. Our babies adjusted to life very well, and that was without pacifiers. The thing that happens is once you introduce pacifiers, that's when babies get comfortable with it and they expect it. So in the initial weeks post-birth, you want to make sure that you're feeding baby on demand. So that basically means every time baby cries and wants some milk, you go ahead and breastfeed. You're going to be on their schedule, make sure that they're satisfied. That's going to do two things. It's going to help you increase your breast milk supply in order to equal out to baby's demand or even give you more. And it's going to build a nice consistent schedule for you and baby to start your breastfeeding journey. Along with this, it will also help baby naturally latch onto your breast. The more that you guys are breastfeeding, the easier it will be for baby to latch and the quicker they will learn. In those first couple days, it may be a little bit difficult, maybe even the first couple weeks. It may be a little bit difficult, but the more that you do it, the more accustomed baby will get to it, and he or she will eventually learn how to latch on perfectly. A good, successful session. You will quickly develop a breastfeeding schedule. Once baby gets home, baby knows when he or she wants to eat, and they will let you know. Stick to the schedule. Be strict about it. Don't miss any scheduled sessions. This includes your night sessions. You should be pumping at night as well, every 2 to 3 hours. Set an alarm, wake up, have everything set up, ready to go, pump and then lay back down, or breastfeed and then lay back down, depending on where you are in your journey. I don't recommend pumping until at least 4 to 6 weeks after birth, because once you do start pumping, it does alter the shape of your nipple a little bit to where baby may have to adjust to that a little bit. But if you guys have already formed a natural latch, after 4 to 6 weeks, that should be fine for you to go ahead and start breast pumping. Keep the schedule as strict as life will allow it. It definitely helps. Baby will typically nurse every 2 to 3 hours. More frequent as a newborn, they'll have those cluster sessions. So this time is your time to increase your milk supply. Don't get stressed by it. Take this time to bond with your baby, form that natural latch, and then it will start to subside, and those sessions will get pushed out to more consistent 2 to 3 hour increments. Once you have established this schedule, then you can begin pumping so that you can increase your milk supply and build your milk stash. I'll leave my how to build a milk stash video up in the cards. I'll also include my power pumping video that has been a hit across the board to help you increase your milk supply. So the key components to successfully breastfeeding include drinking plenty of water, eating a lot of calories. When it comes to your calorie intakes, as a breastfeeding mom, you should have 500 more calories than what you have on your regular daily average. So whatever your daily average is while you're breastfeeding, add 500 more calories to that. That should give you enough calories to be able to sustain your breast milk supply, give yourself enough nutrients, and your baby enough nutrient. Now, when it comes to the calorie intake, make sure that these 500 calories are nutritious calories. You don't want to just intake donuts and ice cream and things like that to build up your calories. You want to eat things like nuts, eggs, oatmeals, things that are going to increase your milk supply for the better. The other key components in breastfeeding successfully are eliminating stress, get plenty of rest, and being consistent. When it comes to being consistent, you want to make sure that you're either breastfeeding or breast pumping every 2 to 3 hours. Stay on top of this schedule, set alarms, be consistent with it. This is going to help you keep your supply and build your supply. If you have any questions on how to breastfeed successfully, please make sure you drop them down below. And until next time, all love.